Hello, everybody. I am Srini Prabala, Director, Six Elements Productions, a Dallas Metroplex-based nonprofit theater group. Thank you all so much for joining our presentation today. Six Elements Productions has been in the forefront of pursuing wonderful theatrical arts and innovative experiments as we learn and evolve as a group pursuing the great theatrical art. Our focus is to leverage the art and serve the local communities by raising funds to make a difference in the lives of the people who are in need. Today, we are super excited to be presenting the play reading of classic play Yayati, written by genius playwright Girish Karnad. Girish Karnad, who passed away in June of 2019, was a great Indian actor, film director, writer, playwright, and a Rhodes Scholar, who worked both in South Indian cinema and Bollywood. He was conferred Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan by the Government of India and won 4 Filmfare Awards for his feature films. His rise as a playwright in the 1960s marked the coming of age of modern Indian playwriting in Kannada. He was recipient of 1998 Jnanpith Award, the highest literary honor conferred in India. Today, we present his play to celebrate the birthday of the great writer and also as a tribute to him on his first death anniversary, which happens to fall on June 10th. We are very happy to be presenting Yayati, Karnad's first play, which was published in 1961 when he was 23 years old. It is based on the story of King Yayati, one of the ancestors of Pandavas, who was cursed to premature old age by his preceptor Shukracharya, who was incensed by Yayati's infidelity. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the wonderful play reading of Girish Karnad's play Yayati.
Good morning. I am the Sutradhara, which literally means the holder of strings. It has been argued by some scholars that this title establishes my lineage back to the puppeteer, the manipulator of marionettes. But others, equally eminent, have said the string, being an instrument of measurement, actually points to my descent from the carpenter, the prop maker, or the architect. In effect, I am the person who has conceived the structures here, whether of brick and mortar or of words. I have designed and consecrated the stage. I am responsible for the choice of text. And here I am now to introduce the performance and to ensure that it takes place without any hindrance. Our play today deals with an ancient myth. But let me rush to explain that it is not a mythological. Heaven forbid. A mythological aims to plunge us into the sentiment of devotion. It sets out to prove that the sole reason for our suffering in this world is that we have forsaken our gods. The mythological is fiercely convinced that all suffering is merely a calculated test devised by the gods to check out our willingness to submit to their will. But if we crush our egos and give ourselves up in surrender, divine grace will descend upon us and redeem us. There are no deaths in mythologicals, for no matter how hard you try, death cannot give meaning to anything that has gone before. It merely empties life of meaning. Our play has no gods, and it deals with death. A key element in its plot is the Sanjeevani Vidya, the art of reviving the dead, which promises release from the limitations of the fleeting life this self is trapped in. The gods and the Rakshasas have been killing each other from the beginning of time for the possession of this art. Humans have been struggling to master it. Sadly, we aspire to become immortal, but can never achieve the lucidity necessary to understand eternity. Death eludes definition. Time coils into a loop, reversing the order of youth and old age. Our certainties crumble in front of the stark demands of the heart. We turn to ancient lore not because it offers any blinding revelation or hope of consolation, but because it provides fleeting glimpses of the fears and desires sleepless within us. It is a good way to get introduced to ourselves. Enough, however, of all this. Let us get on with the play. What is represented here is an inner chamber on the first floor of King Yayati's palace. The king's son, Prince Puru, is returning home today after many years of absence. He has successfully completed his education in the hermitage under renowned gurus and is bringing home with him his bride, Chitralekha, the princess of Anga. Crowds have started collecting in the grounds around the palace, eager to see the royal couple. The two must enter this space, and on this bed they must create for themselves the magic kingdom of love, ambition, and power. He must sow his seed here and then launch forth on a campaign of victory and death. She must proudly bear on her breasts the tooth marks incised by their offspring. Must. Must? Nothing, however, ever happens as it must. What we have in front of us is not a well-charted map, but a network of paths, many of which plunge into the shrubbery and disappear before we have even registered them. But we must trust the narrative we have chosen for ourselves. Invent bits if necessary, but go on. We must relive, not a saga embedded in books, but a tale orally handed down by our grandmothers in lamplit corners. Act 1. I will now take you to an inner chamber in King Yayati's palace. Devayani is sitting on a large, ornately carved bed in the chamber. Swanalata is sitting on the floor, leaning against it, evidently upset.
Enough, Swarna. How often do I have to tell you not to pay her any attention? Get up now. Get up. There is so much to attend to yet.
That spiteful whore! I would have torn her hair out if you wouldn't have stopped me, madam. Taught that fiend a proper lesson. Ah, the Rakshasi! Arre, you heard us, madam. Did I say a word against her? All those dirty insinuations, the nasty jibes. Che. They're too horrible to think. Wow, she didn't even spare His Majesty. More. I can't bear it, madam. Can't bear it.
She has a foul tongue. I know. Just ignore her.
Hurry! What have I done to her? What has she got against me?
Nothing. It's all my fault. I didn't realize she would tear into you like that. Next time, I'll see you don't have to deal with her.
But why do you tolerate her? Why don't you send her back to her tribe, madam?
Enough, I say. Just get back to your work. There's still a lot left to do. Remember, it's an important day of my life.
2 years of it. I can't take it any longer, madam. Wow, how she lashed out at His Majesty yesterday. She was so vicious, it took my breath away. And yet, you tried to reason with her? Why? Why, madam? Why do you put up with her? I know. She was your friend once. But today, she's your slave. You mustn't forget that. You mustn't also let her not forget it, madam.
All right, all right. No need to go on.
Forgive me, madam. May I say something? I'm older than you. I have seen more of life. So, if you permit me,
What is it now?
take care, madam. Not about what she is doing to you, but about what you are doing to yourself. Someone like her, she can become an addiction. You may begin to need her more than she needs you.
I must say, I didn't expect that from you.
I know. No one expects that from Swarnalata. I am expected to be jolly, keep everyone's spirit up, be the life and soul of this palace. But, madam, I can't tell you how scared I am of the shadows that curl around my jokes. I can feel them seeping in like slow fumes of poison. Alone, I am forever fighting them, struggling to block them.
No, we all have them, Swarna.
She is satanic. She can barge into poisonous fumes and watch me choke while she remains untouched. She can creep into hidden corners of my mind, claw those shadows out, and set them dancing. Oh, I am terrified of her, madam. I am
Don't be
terrified.
insane. Just don't be insane, Swarna.
Not yet, but I'm halfway there. So please listen to me. It is not Sharmishta's nastiness that one has to be wary of. It is her uncanny ability to cut close to the bone.
Come on, enough. You don't need to tell me about her. I have known her for years. Don't let us waste any more time on her now. The young couple must be arriving any moment. And this chamber is nowhere ready. Go see if the florists have come. Go, ask them to go, hurry up.
Yes, madam. Yes.
Swarnalata exits. Devayani leans against a bedpost, exhausted, depressed. Sharmishta enters noiselessly. She watches Devayani from a distance.
Your Majesty? Oh, forgive me for disturbing, madam, but I saw your darling maid of yours leave and rush in here. It wouldn't do to have madam suffer lack of distraction.
Sharmishta, why do you try so hard at being nasty? I feel sorry for you sometimes. It really won't help to.
Help? I'm afraid I don't know what help madam can possibly mean. I may not be able to provide all that Swarnalata so freely provides, but
I feel so sorry for you. I have often thought of sending you back home, but there is no way you can force me to do so.
Oh, I promise you, madam. I was not deliberately being nasty. It is just that I'm an uncouth Rakshasi. And the situation here, Kshatriya palace ruled over by a Brahmin queen. Brahmin queen? Confusing, isn't it?
Don't you ever tire? The same old stings, the blunted barbs, they don't even hurt anymore. But what have you got against that poor Swarnalata or His Majesty? Attack me, Sharmishta. Do your worst. I don't care. This is between us. Leave the others out of it.
Others? There are no others. There is only two of us. You, my respected mistress, and me, your favorite slave. Entwined, lacerating each other and gouging each other's eyes out. The others are there because they happen to be there. I never asked them to come in. Oh, incidentally, no, actually nobody talks to me here. I am told that your prince is expected to arrive this evening with his new bride. I can barely wait.
Don't you dare touch them, Sharmishta. Can't you see? Can't you see that you're only hurting yourself? Can't you see the futility of it all? Why don't you open your eyes and see?
Open my eyes? I did 2 years ago. Don't you remember? I do. The precise moment when I closed my eyes, I was the princess of Rakshasas. And you? Offspring of a destitute Brahmin dependent on my father? I had everything. Beauty, education, position, wealth, everything except birth and Arya pedigree. What was your birth? Oh, that your father knew Sanjeevani spell. That's it? Yet I worshipped you, I loved you. To me, the most wondrous power I possess seemed to be my ability to shower gifts upon you, things you hadn't asked for, but so gracefully accepted them. My jewelry, my mother's diamonds, all the precious stones from the treasury, some even stolen also. I opened my eyes and you became the queen of Arya race, the wife of King Yayati, and I, your slave. My eyes have no lids now. I live staring at you unflinchingly like a fish. No, like gods. No, more like corpse. Its eyes wide open. Devayani, remember, as that king crawls into your bed, night after night, I want you to remember that I am there, hovering around.
You made me sick.
Waiting and peeling back your lids, looking at your eyeballs and waiting.
Waiting for what?
I don't know. But when that moment arrives, I shall recognize it and seize it. You will know it too. You won't be able to shut your eyes to it.
And you? You would say only one thing in my eyes. The reflection of His Majesty's face.
Oh, really? What would you see in His Majesty's eyes? Have you ever tried to find out? Have you ever dared examine those eyes and acknowledge the lust burning in there?
Why not? That's what I'm here for, to be lusted for by His Majesty.
Except that He is not lusting for you. You poor darling. He lusts for immortality. Your father's art of Sanjeevani.
Shut up.
Yayati, this Kian of Bharata dynasty, he is not short of women, is he? Women of his kind, sensuous Kshatriya maidens, virgins reared for him. But he chooses you. Why? You know the answer. You, only you could lead him to the ultimate goal, a sanctuary beyond the reach of death. Ah! The joy of turning the funeral pyres of one's kinsmen into altars for one's own fire sacrifice. Aha! The timeless thrill of it, huh?
You mean like your father, who has been fawning on mine for his favors?
Exactly like my father. So I know that kind intimately, you see, from inside. Devayani, see those clouds there? See, to have the power to look upon them from a distance, supreme and untouched by the fear of mortality, to sigh wearily and wait as they crumble into dust and the next generation takes their place. I have seen my father dragged down to that ambition, panting for that supreme privilege. Now, I see him in Yayati, who has the world in his palm. And your father, the great Shukracharya, has the means to keep it there for eternity. That is what he lusts for.
I could have had your tongue slashed, Sarvishta. But I won't. Want to see how long you can go on abusing it before it wears out.
Devayani, just think of when Yayati first saw you. Huh? You were in well, covered in mud and filth, scratched, bleeding. Your clothes were in tatters. You think he fell in love with that spectacle? Fool. He would have gone away without even giving you a second thought. Except he learned that you were Devayani. Devayani, the daughter of Sukracharya. And Yayati's manhood raised its head. All he had to do to keep his banner flying over the world was to plant his flagpole into you.
Go on. Go on if it makes you feel any better. That's not how it happened. And you know that. I was in the well, crying out for help, frightened and distraught. I heard someone call. A face peered into the well. An arm stretched out and pulled me up. I recognized him instantly. I had seen him from far, dreamt of him, and there he was, in flesh and blood. I stared. I just stared. Spellbound.
I know how it goes after that. You forgot you despise men. You forgot the oath you had taken after Kacha's betrayal. Never to love a man. Yeah. It was a love at first sight once again.
Yes. And as it transpired, for him too. We stared at each other. And then I spoke. Sir, I'm a maiden. And you have held me by my right hand. That's it. Only 2 sentences, 14 words. How often have I counted them, coercing myself to believe that mere 14 words could actually completely change my life. It was only later, when I tore away the blouse, he asked, why? He didn't even know who I was when he accepted me.
Oh, very nice. Actually, I was discussing that story with one of the palace concubines the other day. You know what she said? King was no doubt in a hurry to have some quick fun and go. She said, even with the prostitutes picked off the street, the first thing the man does is to ask her name. And you say with you, King dispensed even with that formality. You knew. You knew what would happen if you didn't act quickly. I mean, you didn't want that Kacha experience again, right? So, while he was locked in your embrace, you quickly told him, I am Devayani, the daughter of etc. etc.
I will kill you. I'll feed you to the...
Oh, hail, immortal king, hail.
What is going on here? I mean, why isn't this chamber ready yet?
Nothing, sir. Queen was in need of some entertainment. Now that His Majesty is here to take over, I hope I may be excused.
What is this, darling? What is going on? I mean, it is an auspicious day today. Such an important occasion for us. The prince is waiting for the first time, and he is bringing home his bride. Their entourage is at the city gates. They should be here any moment. Nothing is ready here. The room hasn't been decorated. Look at you. You aren't even...
Really? That's all you're worried about? The celebrations, the rivalries, the festivities? That's all you care about? What I am going through means nothing to you. You are so wrapped up.
Oh, what's wrong? Tell me, what has upset my little pet?
Pet? I'm the daughter of a Brahmin teacher. A pet is one thing I have never had the chance to be.
If you can tell me that what you're upset about, perhaps...
Why? Why did you marry me?
Devi, listen, is that a question for now? We've been married 2 years.
No. If you had deserted me after we first made love and left me on the bed of leaves, no one would have blamed you. Kings are used to women throwing themselves at of the kind. I too would have kept silent from fear and shame. Why then did you marry me?
Because you're the most beautiful woman I know. And at that moment, You were an apparition of the kind that I've never seen before. Dirty, disheveled, ravishing, all at once.
Oh, please, don't play the fool. I must know.
And fortunately, I had pulled you up by your right hand, and I was enchanted by you, and you were not exactly disinclined, so...
But they say,
What? What do they say?
they say even a prostitute is asked her name first when she's picked off the street. And you didn't ask mine.
Didn't I? I can't remember. Oh, then how did I discover your name? Perhaps it was written in my horoscope that lost in a jungle after a hunt and riding along a god-forsaken track, I would hear a voice call out from a well, and there I would see a woman caked in mud, a wood nymph. And according to the stars, the first two letters of her name would be...
Stop that, sir.
How can I? I am amazed. I am amazed to learn that there is a traditional order of questions meticulously followed by lectures hunting debunked quarters. And I am amazed that you, my wife, sitting in one of the best guarded women's quarters in the world, suddenly comes to know of the questions with which whoremongers accost stray women.
Sorry, I know I'm stupid. Let's just forget it.
Dare I ask you who's behind all this? Will you permit me a guess? Surely it is that accursed creature, the deranged witch rampaging around in the palace grounds.
Sir, you're delaying things now. Please go away. Let me get this chamber done up.
No, I won't. I've had enough of this ghoul sucking blood from her married life. And I'm sick of hearing every living soul in this palace complain against her. And I'm scared she'll defile today's festivities. I've had enough. I must talk to her. Who's there?
Your Highness.
Send that Sharmishta in here.
The florists are waiting, madam.
Let them wait. I must have a word with this woman first.
But what are you going to say to her?
Devi, I will give her a month. If she behaves herself, I shall send her home, and I mean it.
You think it's of any use? She will not listen.
Devi, look, I had come to tell you that the head priest is waiting for us. He wants to go over the details with the puja with us. And I forgot. You go to him. I will have a word with this woman and follow you.
No, please. Please, let her be.
Are you afraid to leave me alone with her? You can stay if you wish, but I have a feeling she'll be easier to deal with without you around.
No, it's not that. It is...
I am no stranger to women, darling.
Oh, you and your...
Sharmishta enters. An uncomfortable silence ensues. She stands in a corner without looking up at either the king or Devayani. Yayati waits for Devayani to leave. After a pause, Devayani exits.
Well, let me not beat around the bush. It is not proper that I'm seen conversing with someone like you. So let me come to the point. My son Puru arrives today with his new bride. And on this auspicious day, with my family deity as my witness, let me give you my word. If you behave yourself for one more month, just till the next full moon, I shall see that you're sent home.
Home? Who's home?
Yours? Who else? You aren't happy here? You can't be. Fair enough. Different manners, customs, and unfamiliar way of life. I can imagine how excruciating it must be to live amongst strangers against your will.
Against my will? Who said so? No, sir. No. I agreed to this arrangement. This is my life now. My home. Devayani has her father's word that I shall be her slave. My father gave her father his word that I shall be her slave. And I have given my father my word that it shall be so. We can't go back on all those words. Too many words to break.
Look, when Devayani demanded that you come with her to my palace as her companion,
As her slave. You don't have to be so kind, sir.
as her companion. It was meant to be a formal punishment for your offense. But she is your friend. She loves you. 2 years have passed and you have served your term. I shall arrange to have you freed.
Aww, but I love it here.
Are you? Are you happy even in this hell you're creating?
See, I could have spewed out nectar, but we leave those things to namby-pamby Brahmin girls. I am Rakshasa woman, and we have our code.
What code? You are from a royal family. Where is your self-respect, your dignity, the obligation to be a princess that you owe your family? You behave like a cheap harridan.
You owe hundreds of slaves. Huh? You own them. But have you ever wondered what it does to a person to be made a slave? It turns that person into an animal, a domesticated animal. One's will to act is completely destroyed. One's selfhood humbled into grateful submission. Accept that crumb. Wait for the pat on the back. Sir, to be a good slave is to have all your vileness extracted from you. I snarl because I want to retain a particle of my original self. I abuse and rave to retrieve an iota of it. I know it is useless, of course. Scream as I may, I know there is no escape from the degradation. The louder I scream, the more I declare myself as a slave. That is the point. I have decided to turn myself into a performing freak.
You are a very intelligent woman. I didn't allow for that.
You Aryas have sorted out things so neatly for yourself that we must seem confused and confusing. Why does she behave like that? Why can't she see what is good for her? The answer, sir, is because we Rakshasas have chosen to live in chaos. Proud it is the chaos of our own creation. And yet, of course, we also despise ourselves for not being lucid and rational like you Aryas. To be thus convoluted is our prerogative.
I have said all that I wish to say. I must go now.
Please wait. It is true I am your wife's slave. You may dismiss me as you wish. But you asked to see me. And as you said, I am princess by birth. I have right to be heard.
Then answer my question first. Is pushing a friend into a well act of worthy of a princess? That is where it all began, didn't it?
Yes, it did. But she never explained to you why.
Oh yes, something about your blouses getting mixed up and you flying into a wild temper and...
Yes, of course.
You started the chain of events. You can't blame her for it.
Of course I don't. I accept the responsibility for every act, including the first, which was actually to love Devayani. Until she stepped into my life, I was a perfect Rakshasa princess, spoiled, proud, but not too much. I like being with us other Rakshasa girls and boys, go singing and dancing with them under the bright moon, weave garlands of wild flowers for our festive games, prance around in the river naked on the dark nights, aware that the naked boys are sensing us from distance. But outside that world, conscious every moment that we were Rakshasas, held in contempt. Then Devayani came into my life. Devayani. She was unlike any other woman I met. She seemed completely conscious of the fact that she belonged to a superior race. Actually, let me confess her. She was equally affectionate to everyone in our tribe. It was I, as the princess, who claimed her for myself. I wallowed in the privilege her equality endowed me with. I gloated. I flaunted her company in the face of other Rakshasa girls. And she accepted all that with such easy grace. If she had mocked me as a Rakshasi, even by suggestion, we might have been in a happier place.
I'm captivated. I must go now. It is.
One day, sir, we went for a swim in the lake. We two had grown closer since her Brahmin lover Kacha had spurned her. I like to think I was nursing her bruised self back to health, guarding her against further hurt. I wanted to be like her. I even dressed like her. We finished our swim and stretched out on the grass, our hair spread out to dry in the sun. I could feel myself being sucked languidly into the stupor when Devayani woke me up. We have exchanged our blouses, I think, she said. I felt a sudden stab of anger that the delicacy of the moment had been needlessly disturbed. I was in the brink of a beautiful dream and you ruined it. I replied, of course, smilingly. But the suggestion of the bitterness in my words must have stung her. I suddenly felt alarmed at my thoughtlessness and wanted to make it up for it. But the world fell into shivers around me.
Why? What happened?
You poor people, she said. I realized with rising panic that she never ever used that phrase before. Never talked of us in plural. You poor people, you only have to get into a piece of Arya attire and you start fantasizing. Please, sir, bear with me. If those words had come from anyone else, I would have brushed them aside. I'm used to worse. But Devayani, my Devayani to whom I had dedicated my life, my mind froze. I watched myself like in a dream, straining to stop myself, but powerless to do so. As I got up and I grabbed her long, loose hair, I twisted the strands around my hand and I pulled her. She screamed and thrashed about it. I dragged her to the well nearby and I pushed her in. I stood there, watched. She crashed through the marbles that filled the well. The world only knows I threw her into the well, but not that I was sitting there for I don't know how long, ragged with sobs. Does that surprise you, sir? I do have tears in my eyes, but the world only cares for the embers there.
I came here to reprimand you, but now I'm lost for words.
You don't have to believe my story. It must simplify your life to believe that I acted as a savage and that is expected.
Let me say I feel benefited by our little chat in at least one small way. I know there's nothing I can do. I stand disabused of my belief that I have the ability to solve the problem.
No, sir, but you have helped. Perhaps during these 2 years, all I needed was someone to listen to me. You have done that, and that's enough for me. I am very, very grateful to you. I shall not torment you any further.
What do you mean? You agree to go home?
Home, that's just a blank spot, sir, erased from my life. See, this is the dowry my father gave me when I left home. A vial of lethal poison made with pure mushrooms. Instantly effective, he assured me. Actually, I meant to use this on Devayani and then on myself. But I have no desire left to kill her.
Killing her would have solved nothing.
Perhaps. That is immaterial now. At this moment, I am in a position to bring the game to an end.
Don't be stupid.
Calmly lifts the vial to her lips.
Don't be stupid, Sharmishta. You pushed Devayani into the well, and now you're plunging down into a crueler abyss.
But you turned up in time to pull her out. I am barbarian. My arms have thorns.
She's about to drink the contents of the vial when Yayati jumps forward and grabs her right hand.
Drop it! Sharmishta, instantly!
They both stand frozen. Sharmishta drops the vial, which falls on the bed.
Sir, you're holding my right hand, and I'm your princess. Forgive me, sir. I don't mean to trap you in my words. I know I have no life but of a slave. But, sir, I can't go on living floundering around in this hellhole alone.
Your Majesty, the floral decorators are outside awaiting orders.
Send them away. I shall ask for them. And listen, I don't want anyone to be admitted until I say so.
Yes, Your Highness.
So you see, Sharmishta, I too am joining it.
Act 2. Yayati is sitting on the bed. Sharmishta is adjusting her dress. Her hair is cascading down her shoulders. She deftly gathers it in her hand and ties it up in a knot. She turns and looks at him. He sees the vial of poison lying on the bed and picks it up.
You should have let me drink the poison.
Would you, if I had let you?
Yes?
So it was not just a threat then, a theoretical gesture.
No.
You Rakshasas are known for your histrionics.
I didn't plot it. I wanted to die.
I can never understand that. The fascination with suicide, the flirtation with death.
You talk of death as though it is just another woman ready to succumb to your charms. It isn't. You cannot flirt with one death and pass on to taste the next one. There is no next one.
Don't try to teach me about death. I deal with it every day.
Other people's death. I'm not talking about that.
The only death real to me is that of someone else, not mine. I never think of my own death. That for me is not a possibility at all. When I ride into combat, I know I shall return alive.
To what? More women.
Among other things, women, music, dance, celebrations, my subjects. I love life. I love my subjects. I like those around me to be happy and cheerful. I would like you to remember that.
Me? It doesn't apply to me. I am not going to be here around. Devayani will not allow that. After all this is going to make her very angry.
Why should she mind? She knows she's married to a king. She can't afford to be jealous.
I don't know whether she will be jealous, but she will most certainly be livid. Along with her, her father. Oh my God, I should tread warily if I were you.
Oh, but surely. He can't be such a prude. He's a guru in your father's court. He must be used to worse.
Let us not get into that, sir. Let me just warn you that by spending this half an hour with me, you have already lit the fire. Better douse it before it explodes into a conflagration.
Let it. I don't care.
You are amazing.
I've heard that said before.
But not sure. But not I'm sure in the sense I mean.
How do you mean?
You see yourself as awesome, powerful, a figure towering over the vast positions, a demigod, if not the god himself. You're so busy visualizing the grand design of life that you have no sense of traps and snares waiting in the grass. You have no sense how illogical suffering can be and therefore how terrible. You don't know what a disaster you could be.
No one has dared say that to me.
There you go. A simple statement like that and they have to dare to utter it. I wish more people had said such things to you. You are a good man, I'm sure, but you are naive, which is so dangerous for a powerful man to be.
You are insolent. That is dangerous for a slave.
I am not your slave, Your Majesty. I am hers. I have absolutely no need to be scared of you. For she will not let me be in your vicinity again. She will send me away. If she doesn't, I shall run away.
How?
That is between her and me. I will not betray my mistress' trust second time.
You leave me no choice then.
I beg your pardon, sir. A king by definition has no choice. It is the slave who is deprived of it.
Quiet. And Devayani will deprive me of my choice if she takes you away. So I shall have to take measures to prevent that from happening. Right. I'm making you my queen.
Me? Your queen? Huh. Nonsense.
Mind your words, lady. When I say something, I mean it. I shall make you my queen.
No. What absolute rubbish. Don't stop uttering that. There. You should be ashamed of yourself. You made me cry.
I didn't intend to.
See, it's not fair going around and offering to marry every woman you slept with.
I do not offer to marry every woman I sleep with.
Oh, bother. I've forgotten what I started out to say. Oh, yes. Sharing this palace with her has been unpleasant enough. I am not going to start sharing a bed.
You already have.
I know. I should have had more sense in me. Well, it is too late to regret that. No, thank you. I must turn down your kind offer.
What are you afraid of, Sharmishta?
Of her, of you. The two of you are so nice enough apart. Together, you make a deadly combination. And then there are crowds outside.
Oh my God. It completely slipped my mind. The crowds. This chamber has to be done up for my son.
You shouldn't worry too much about that. They are getting another one ready. Your maids are very adept in handling crisis.
Who's there?
Yes, Your Highness.
Send the florist in.
The florists have gone away, sir. The queen asked them to leave.
Devayani, is she here?
She has been waiting outside for a while, Your Majesty.
Has she? Send her in. Send her in fast. Sharmishta, you go. I'll handle her.
No, it won't help. Let me be here. Please. I know her better than you.
Sharmishta, you go. I'll handle her.
Please don't annoy her further. Please be very careful. Treat her gently. Okay.
Come, Devi, come.
Very nice. An auspicious reopening of your son's bedchamber, huh? Where is she gone?
Listen, Devi. It is no use getting excited. Please.
Devayani goes and pulls open some curtains on the left. Sharmishta is hiding behind one of them.
Oh, there you are. You see, Your Majesty, she is my childhood friend. There is nothing we don't know about each other.
My words, precisely.
Shut up, you treacherous hyena.
Listen, Devi. Listen. Let us forget. Please.
Forget? There is only one way to forget, sir. She must go. Treachery runs in her veins. I shall send her home.
Home? I have no home. I have promised my father that I shall be your servant for life. Remember?
I treated you with compassion, kept you here with me, And this is how you return my trust. Sharmishta, you're evil beyond redemption. I don't want you here. Go. I grant you your freedom. Go hang yourself with it. I shall arrange for you to go home instantly.
Devi, don't be foolhardy, please.
These are royal orders, Sharmishta. Get out.
Thank you. Now that I have forfeited my shackles, I can die in a ditch of my choice then.
Sharmishta, wait. I forbid you to go.
Thank you, Your Majesty, but I am under no obligation to obey you. I am not your subject.
Who's there?
Yes, Your Highness.
Tell the guards this lady may go anywhere she likes in the kingdom, but she has to be kept under strict surveillance.
What do you want, sir? You've had her. All right, that is over and done with. I know. I just now want her out of her sight.
Swarna, you heard me. I want her kept under strict watch. If she disappears, someone will pay for it with their life.
Yes, Your Highness.
Let her go, sir. Let her go. Don't you have enough concubines to keep you occupied?
Me? His concubine? You must be joking. Yes, I got him into the bed with me. That was my revenge on you. After all, as a slave, what weapon did I have but my body? Well, I am even with you now, and I am free. I shall go where I please.
Sharmishta, you're not fooling anyone. Devi, I'm not out to make her my concubine. She'll be my queen.
Your queen? I mean, your royal consort.
Yes, but you don't need to worry, Devi. Your position will not be touched. You will remain the senior queen and you shall share my throne. You'll be at my side in all public celebrations. That goes without saying. She can never be a threat to your position. You know that because of her race.
Oh, God. Oh, God, this slave of mine is to be... No, that is not possible, sir.
She's not a slave anymore. You have just freed her.
I am free to spurn your proposition also.
Very nice. Exquisite. Sharmishta, now speak the truth. Aren't you desperate to be my queen? Aren't you?
Oh, let go of me. Please, let go, please.
Let go of her, sir. Let go of her, please.
What is the point of all these theatrics, Sharmishta? Devi, what are you upset about? She'll be lodged in a separate residence. I shall ensure that she does not impinge on your life even for one fleeting moment.
Sir, please take as many wives as you want. I don't care. But not this reptile. Not her.
But why not?
Just send her away. I beg of you.
Let me go, sir. She doesn't want me here. And I don't want to be here. For once, Devayani and I are in perfect accord.
Sharmishta, why are you being so difficult? Are you afraid of her or are you being nice to her? My answer to both of you is, sorry. My mind is made up.
Well then, I know I am doomed. But if you are so keen to join me, so be it. But don't blame me later.
The beating of the drums and the tumult of the crowds is heard.
Where is this guard who is supposed to keep an eye on me? Oh, I suppose Swarna will point him out.
Devi, come. You have to welcome the prince. He must be nearing the palace.
I have never asked of any favors of you in these 2 years. I implore you now. I too can bear my fangs. I too can draw blood. Don't you provoke me on the account of this woman. I want her out of my life. Please send her away. Why do you want her?
Because I feel bewitched by her. Even now, at this moment, I want her. I have never felt so entranced by a woman. What is it? Is it some spell she has cast on me, or some secret sorcery? I can feel the youth bursting out within me again. Her beauty, her intelligence, her wit, her abandon in love. Ah! Not to marry her is to lose her. Don't you see? I must have her. I must have kept her. Please try to understand.
Your Highness, Madam, the prince's entourage is at the palace gates.
Come, darling. We must go and welcome them. You can't not. All right then. You wait here. I shall greet them and bring them in here. Okay? Just wait here.
He leaves. Devayani stares after him. Then, as Swarnalatha watches horrified, she tears the marriage thread from around her neck and flings it on the floor.
Madam!
Devayani snatches out other pieces of jewelry she is wearing and throws them down as well.
Please, madam! Your son is here! You can't! Madam!
I have nothing to do with this lot anymore. I'm finished with them.
Don't say that! Your daughter-in-law, she's still a child. Think of her. Her happiness is your concern now.
I am no Kshatriya queen to suffer relatives foisted on me. I'm leaving.
No. Please, madam. His Majesty, he's like a child. He will forget that woman once he finds another toy. But if you go away now, in front of all those crowds, the damage will be forever, madam. You will never be able to undo it. And they will blame it all on the young bride.
Do you expect me to worry about them? When I have enough worries to drown me?
No. The prince can't even remember his mother. He was a small baby. He's your son now. And she's your daughter-in-law. You accepted that pledge the moment you became the queen, madam.
I know it's all my fault. I am to blame for everything. It's just that I'm so unworthy of this palace.
Madam, let me say one more thing. I have seen more of the world than you.
Enough, Minya. Don't overreach yourself. I came here without these trinklets. I'll go back without them.
Oh, forgive me, madam. Don't you at least talk to your father before you decide?
I don't need you to tell me that. I'm going home. Go ask them to summon my carriage.
But, madam, your father is here. He has come to the city to greet the prince.
Has he? When did he come?
The deafening sound of the drums erupt again. Swarnalatha gets excited.
The prince has entered the palace, madam. The welcome rites are about to start, madam. Please.
Tell me, Swarna, where is my father?
I was told he was resting in the Shambhu shrine.
Good. That saves me a lot of trouble. Well. Look who's here. The new queen herself. Aren't you going to welcome the prince? What are you doing in here?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here. But Devayani, don't do anything rash. Your temper.
You are a fine one to talk, huh? Do you think I don't know why you have come to me now? You have heard about my father. And now you are here to prevent me from seeing him. You want me to keep me trapped in here till the prince arrives, isn't it?
Yes, perhaps you are right. I don't know what to do. But Devayani, I can sense the disaster. I can feel it looming. Only you can avert it. At least wait till you have met the prince and his bride. Talk to them. They may lead to some way out of this terrible mess.
I will. But only if you get out of here, Sharmishta. I want you out of my life.
And go where? My father will not accept me. And that king has kept me under watch.
I will not be able to sleep a wink while his hands caress your body, Sharmishta. Well, then, I'm leaving.
Devayani exits. Sharmishta looks around, lost. While the above conversation is going on, Swarnalata is collecting the pieces of jewelry flung around by Devayani. Music is played outside the door. Sharmishta runs out following Devayani
Devayani!
as
Devayani!
Yayati, Puru, and Chitralekha enter. Swarnalata moves to a corner and awaits orders. Puru looks around the room.
Where is Her Majesty? Did she say where she's going?
The revered Shukracharya was in town. She
must be eager to see her father. Fair enough. We can finish the remaining formalities.
The priest will take care of all that, Puru. You two, go and rest. Swarna, lead them to their chamber.
Rest? We have been hanging around the city gates for 2 days, waiting for the right conjunction of stars. Devi, would you go ahead with your entourage?
This way, please, madam.
So if you're feeling that energetic, shall we move to the assembly hall? The ministers will be waiting for you. They will bring you up to date on the affairs of the state. There are some disturbing news from some of the frontiers.
Oh, I'm sure you can take care of it. Why don't we just sit here for a while? Perhaps the Queen will return soon.
If you say so. This has always been your favorite chamber.
Yes, something haunting about it. Something beautiful. You know, they say walls have ears. I wish these walls had vocal cords to sing to me. The few moments in my life I could really call happy, they're all associated with this room.
Puru, your life isn't over yet. There is plenty of time to enjoy happiness. So, how did the wedding ceremony go? I am told your father-in-law spared no pains.
A ceremony befitting the scion of the Bharata family, I would say. The messengers must have given you the official description.
What do you mean, official description?
I mean the version agreed upon by their court poets and ours.
Was there an unofficial version?
A personal one, yes.
There is a personal angle to everything, Puru. Usually not very pleasant. But you are a prince, Puru, the next sovereign of the land of the Aryas. What matters in our case, yours as well as mine, is the public memory of the events.
So what a person is going through within himself, does it matter?
It is our duty to make sure that what we go through is the experience of the dynasty. This is a dynasty that has produced some of the most greatest rulers in the history of the world, Puru.
The great mystery then surely is how this glorious bloodline produced a specimen like me.
Don't, Puru, don't. Don't start on that again. And don't tell me you're still striking those adolescent postures. Don't you know what our forefathers achieved in their...
I do indeed. How could I not? The Hermitage resonated with tales of their wonderful deeds. And most of these feats were performed, it was carefully pointed out to me when they were so much younger than you. That was the refrain. It was not that I was backward. I was stunted.
Who said so?
I did. I agreed with them. I had not the slightest inclination to follow in the steps of my illustrious forefathers. I found their deeds pompous. I was bored by the Hermitage and embarrassedly. I wanted to just run away from there, from all that it represented. That history, those triumphs, those glorious ideals. I wanted to be back here, in this palace, in this room.
Puru, what do you want? Why do you always...
Here in this room, there was something to look for, something to brood over. My mother's memory, the memory of her face, floating bodiless like the moon. Was she beautiful?
Yes, she was. And I have told you that 100 times, Puru.
Of course. And you added a Bharata prince would not have married a woman not beautiful. Stupid of me to keep asking. But I can only sense the face. I keep feeling the need to fill in the details.
Son, do you put on this act as a special favor to your father? Or has it become your general style? What does your bride think of all this?
Oh, yes. You were asking me about my wedding and I never answered the question. You know, Chitralekha's father had invited princes from all over the country and organized an archery contest for them. The contest had to be cancelled at the last moment.
Did it? Why?
Even I didn't pay attention to the cancellation. If I had, I wouldn't have accepted the invitation, obviously. The pretense, of course, was that Chitralekha would choose her own mate, the most gifted of the princes. But it had been decided long in advance that she should marry the Bharata prince, that she was destined to become the empress of Aryabhatta. They thought, well, a simple archery contest. It should be child's play for someone from the great dynasty. Then, then they received reports about my skills and quietly dropped the requirement. There was an uproar among the invited princes, of course. But the family had made up its mind. Actually, they didn't need me. They needed some male figure from the palace. A doorkeeper statue would have done just as well.
Who has stuffed your head with such nonsense?
Chitralekha. Yes, she told me. Who else and why do you call it nonsense? That is the truth. From her birth, she has been groomed for this moment, and when it arrives, what does she find? Me. Gormless me.
Surely she didn't say that.
No, she did not. Actually, when she was recounting all the confusion I had managed to create in their plans, she was laughing. Not at me, but at their own, but at her own family, at their pretensions, their eagerness to snare me. That is what I like about her. She is intelligent, loving, full of fun, but also honest and practical. She accepts me as I am, a fact to live with. But deep down, I can sense her disenchantment. She deserves someone worthy of her. Under the circumstances, I couldn't have made a more felicitous choice. She wants a son, and so do I.
Good. It is gratifying to know that you realize you owe the family something.
I want to have a son so she will not grumble against me, nor will anyone else. I can place him in her arms under your tender care and just leave. He can take after his ancestors.
And you?
How shall I put it? My forefathers were the great eagles, keen-eyed, hovering regally in the clouds. I shall seek to be a worm.
And do you think that is easy?
We'll have to find out, wouldn't I?
Puru, I had a charioteer once. He was married to this maid, Swarnalatha. One day, suddenly, he decided to become a worm. Went berserk. Women's, drinks, aesthetism, opiates. Nothing brought him peace of mind. Finally, he committed suicide.
This Swarna's husband? I remember him. He used to play with us. But she's dressed as a married woman.
She probably hasn't been told.
Another lie?
Or perhaps she was told and she would not accept it. I don't know. I leave these things to my officers. But you, where will you go?
I don't know. That is the most exciting part of it, wouldn't it?
But surely you must. If you want to go away, where would you want to go?
There you are. You think everyone has a ready-made answer? I just want to go somewhere where I can just sit quietly and ask myself questions. Just ask questions, not seek answers. Ask questions of myself. I should be quite content if I found the right question. Just one. I could do it in this room, I know. But in this palace, I'll never be left alone.
So,
Nothing. We seem to have reached our usual point of silence, faster than usual.
shall we move to the assembly hall then?
I love this room. I want to live in this room. Actually, I had asked for it to be our chamber.
That was the plan, but things went wrong. I'm sorry. We have got another room ready for you. But if you insist, we can have this room done up for you.
No. What I wanted to see was, can Chitralekha use that other room while I use this one? For just one evening.
Puru, what are you talking about? Do you want to keep your bride away from you?
No, I don't. But just now, when she stepped in here, suddenly it was like a violation of this air, this erection. This room is mine. It is a sanctum that belongs to me, only me and my memories. I don't want a third person to come in here. At least not today.
Will you explain that to her? No one else can.
I will. There is so much I haven't told her about my mother's face, about the deathly silence that surrounds that face. I haven't warned her that no one talks about my mother in this palace. She's a conundrum, an untouchable.
Not an untouchable. It was, uh, it was a little, a little distasteful.
Distasteful? My mother?
All right, you're a man now. You might as well know. I met her on one of my military campaigns. I had never seen anyone so beautiful, ethereal. She seemed one of the gentlest, most loving creatures one could ever imagine. Everyone loved her, and I married her. She gave me a son. I made her my senior queen. And then suddenly she changed. She started to scream and curse as though she had gone mad, when actually she hadn't. Very lucidly, she would explain to me her plan, which was to make life intolerable for everyone in the palace.
Lovely. And then?
Her last days were not happy. She was bedridden, and even from there, she continued to spew out her virulence. It was only in her last few moments that she told me the truth. She was a Rakshasa woman, and the Aryas had destroyed her home and her hearth. She was bent on vengeance, and the inferno she had created was a way of celebrating her success. She had made sure that the crown prince of Bharatas had the Rakshasa blood in him. The Aryas would be ruled by a...
Say it. Say it. Woman. And that is me.
We were silly about these things in those days, Puru, and a little mean too. I can see it now. Today, I would not hold a person's Rakshasa origins against her. And yet, people...
Yet even today, no one knows that the prince of the Aryas has polluted blood in his veins. How absolutely terrible. How excruciatingly thrilling. Oh, but why? Why didn't you tell me all this before? Why did you hide the truth while my need for it festered and suppurated? You didn't mind destroying my life for the sake of a lie? God, I despise you all. I loathe you and your hypocrisy.
Oh, please, please, Prince Puru. Only you can save His Majesty. Please hurry up and go. You mustn't waste time.
Who are you?
What is this, Sharmishta? What has happened to you?
There is no time to explain, sir. Please go before they leave the town.
They? Who is they? Have you gone mad?
The revered Shukracharya and Devayani, sir. They are about to...
But why are they leaving? What has happened, father?
Sir, Shukracharya is so incensed that he cursed His Majesty. Only you can save the situation now.
Curse?
Curse?
Curse? What curse? How is this curse going to change the lives of those in this family, who all will burn in this new fire? We find ourselves at a very critical stage. To know what happens next, tune in tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Time, when we unveil the truth. Namaskara.